So in this segment, we're going to be talking about something that's pretty uncomfortable for me to be talking about, but I feel like it's an incredibly important topic, and that's kind of one of the things I want to do on this channel is just talk about stuff where no one's really talking about, these specific issues, and means that people may not know. If my channel can help do that, then that's what I want my channel to be. But enough talking about me. Let's talk about the story, which is a story that will it's grim. It's grim. So controversial virginity test kits sold in UK clinics, and so there's no way to actually test if a woman is a virgin. There's no examination that can prove a girl or a woman has had sex. That's according to the UN and the World Health Organization, and that's something we'll talk about in a few minutes. And there are multiple communities and kind of religious groups that have this kind of obsession with virgins and purity, and it needs to stop. If you want to stay true to yourself until marriage, that's fine, but forcing other people to do that, and forcing, this is a multi-layered story, because it's not just people selling virginity tests. It's stemmed from other things, things like people being promised in marriage to someone else, which is completely stupid and wrong, because you should be able to choose who you want to marry, so long as they're of legal age and consenting. It shouldn't be up to someone else to decide for you who you should marry. That's wrong, and it will just cause problems for you later on. Arranged marriages are one thing, but forced marriages are wrong morally, and it will cause problems for the family later on in life, where you have two people who are forced together, who may have children, and it causes a destabilized home for children to grow up in. Anyways, let's dig into the story here. So, women are being offered controversial virginity tests at British medical clinics. An investigation by the BBC News Beat and 100 Women has found. The intrusive tests are considered a violation of human rights by the World Health Organization and the United Nations, which want to see them banned, and which they should be banned. Critics say they are unscientific, cannot prove whether someone is a virgin, and can be a form of abuse. The tests involve a vaginal examination to check if the hymen is intact. The BBC investigation found a number of private clinics advertising virginity repair, which, when contacted, they then also offered the so-called virginity test for between £150 and £300. So these people are making money off essentially the sort of the intrusion of women, which is wrong. I first heard about the story, these sort of stories last year, was when Ti spoke about it, and I was like, oh, this is grim. I'm glad that he's, I've only got one song of his that I actually like, or one or two songs, but Ti, man, like, honestly, this is shocking. He said it with his chest as well. So Ti sparked outrage after revealing he takes his daughter for a test every year to check her hymen is still intact. Like, imagine being his kid. She's going to be a psychologist's dream, because that kid's going to have so many problems and so much money. It's shocking, people do this. And, the fact that he said it openly as well, thinking he's going to get applause from people. No, Ti, that's creepy. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Ti is a guy who had extramarital, sort of outside of marriage relationships with women. A guy who pushes materialism in his rapping. I would not be surprised if he's that guy. So if it's all right for you, Ti, and you can argue that I've made a bit of a straw man here, but if it's all right for people like Ti to do this, for men to do this, it should be okay for women. I don't understand the point of this. The BBC identified 21 clinics and managed to make inquiries with 16 of them. 7 confirmed they offer virginity testing, and several others would not clarify their position. So clearly they knew something dodgy was up. All said they would carry out hymen repair surgery, which cost in the region of £1,500 or to £3,000. Data from NHS England showed that 69 hymen repair procedures have been carried out in the past 5 years. So these are only from the data that they could find. I wouldn't be surprised if it's far higher, and I also wouldn't be surprised if they went abroad to do this as well. Newsbeat has heard the story of one woman helped by a charity called Karma Nirvana, which supports victims of so-called honor-based abuse and forced marriage. And this kind of feeds into the broader, the layers of the story I was talking about here, where you have, honor-based killings, because you could say that, they force the woman to have a virginity test, even if she's a virgin, and say the hymen is ruptured for other reasons, then, she could be killed for that. Why? It's we don't live in the medieval era anymore. Women aren't property. Like, you should not be treating other people like this. It's just wrong for a start, and you're going to cause more problems within your family. There's going to be a lack of trust with your daughter or whoever this person is that you want to get virginity tested, you're going to cause a rupture in the family. There's going to be no trust, no communication, and you're going to get other problems as well stemming from that. So I had a very emotionally abusive relationship with my parents who wanted me to have an arranged marriage. And, I wouldn't be surprised if this sounded like more like a forced marriage where she was forced into marrying some person, and to make sure she's still quote unquote pure, they do this virginity testing. It's just ridiculous. And this is one of the side effects of doing these, stupid things are, which is that, girls will run away, women will run away. One day, an elder in the community saw me with my friends and said to my mum that one of the boys was my boyfriend. There were lots of rumours in the community about that, and that's the thing. People always gossip and stuff like that. Like, why is it your business, Mr. Elder, to why are you watching this group of young girls for a start? B, why are you telling the parent? And C, who cares? She was then threatened with a virginity test by her parents. My parents said the family of the man they wanted me to marry said I had to have a virginity test to prove I was still a virgin, so the marriage can go ahead. Like, this kind of weird obsession is just it's very creepy. It's very creepy. I was scared and didn't really understand what it meant. I felt running away was my only option, so that's what I did. So this girl here, obviously fearing that something would happen, maybe an honor killing, or maybe should be outcast from the family, she decided to run away, which I'm not surprised about because of honor-based killings are so prevalent in certain communities. It's just like, come on, like, honestly. Priya Monata manages the helpline for Karma Nirvana. This is one of the hymen repair kits, by the way. We're going to be talking about that more in a few minutes. We have reached calls from girls who are concerned about this. It might be that they are worried their families have found out, or perhaps they've been in a relationship and they're not a virgin anymore. It might be family are pressuring them to go through tests, and they are concerned about the outcome of that. Triggers for honor-based abuse and forced marriages are being in a relationship, choosing your own partner, and being in an intimate relationship. We know at the charity, many victims in extreme cases have been killed. For other victims, it might be they are disowned by their family, and this kind of idea of, oh, it's dishonorable because you slept with someone else before your marriage, or you have a boyfriend. Like, surely you want your daughter to be happy above all else, and so if being with someone else makes them happier than the person you've promised for them, without their consent, by the way, if that makes them happier, then why would you want to stand in the way of that? If they can build a much more stable relationship with someone else, why would you want to stand in the way of that? I don't understand. Virginity testing is known to be practiced in at least 20 countries, according to the World Health Organization, which says there's no evidence that it can prove whether a woman or a girl has had sex or not. This is because the hymen can tear for many reasons, including tampon use and exercise. I think horse riding is a common one. Last year, T.I., sparked outrage, admitting during a podcast he takes his daughter for a test every year to check her hymen is still intact. Like, bruh, like, do you know, T.I., bro, that's so creepy. And for any dad who's obsessed over this, or mum, you're a bit creepy. Very creepy. And this kind of practice should be banned. So tweezers and fake blood. Meanwhile, the BBC has also found hymen repair kits being sold online for £50, which claim to restore virginity. No, it doesn't. This story gets so much more bizarre. One kit purchased for £104 arrived from Germany. So clearly we can see that there's a problem, perhaps not just in the UK, but also in Europe. And that's something where, perhaps other governments, maybe the EU can, figure this out and ban this sort of behaviour. It contains 60 millilitres of vagina tightening gel. I don't want to know what that is. Plastic tweezers, a blood capsule, and 3 sachets that appeared to contain fake blood. There were no instructions on how to use the kit. That's probably how they get away with selling these, because obviously no instruction, so it's just a thing you can buy. Dr. Ashfaq Khan is a gynecologist who regularly gets requests from patients for virginity testing and hymen repair. I don't understand why it's not illegal in the UK. It should be made illegal, he says. The whole idea of the absence of part of the hymen, you're not a virgin, is wrong, first of all. So, first of all, he's saying that's bad science. It can be torn for various reasons, and if I was to say it is torn, I need to repair it, and then I can give you a certificate. That means I am giving a false certificate. And he's right, the argument that by repairing it means that everything's like how it was before Ted is obviously wrong. When you sew something up, a piece of clothing, it was still torn. You can still see the stitch marks, and it's not how it was before. I guess a similar thing would apply to this, and this just we'll go on. We'll talk a bit more about this stuff. Educate our communities. He believes more action against the practices needed. The same way we push against female genital mutilation issues brilliantly as world leaders highlighting the problem of FGM. He tells Newsbeat, and to me, this is another crime. We are associating ourselves with a procedure that is ethically and morally not correct. Um, Earlier this year, the Middle Eastern Women and Society Organization started a campaign to ban virginity testing and called for more education around the topic. Founder Halala Taheri said, although we would like to eventually ban hymen repair, banning the practice without proper education will only do more harm than good. I agree with that. You need to educate people first, and but you also do need to push for the ban as well. And then when you push for the ban, that's when you can explain to people, why you need to ban this. The only reason these practices are in business is because of this backward mentality concerning virginity. Absolutely 100% agree. If we were to educate our communities and to reverse this belief, then there would be no need for hymen reconstruction, and it would go out of business on its own. But I do believe it needs to be banned. And we talk about that sort of honor culture. If you watch this film by the I think it's by the BBC here. It's a really good film, which basically talks about the whole thing, honor killing. It doesn't talk about a virginity test as such, but it does really well explain the whole honor based thing and all those promises to, you've been promised to marry someone else, so you can't pick the person you wanted. 100% would recommend watching this if this still works. 100% would agree. And the whole abstinence thing, it doesn't work. You'll get all sorts of problems. You'll get a spread of STDs, unwanted pregnancies, and things like that. They've done studies into this. Abstinence training doesn't stop anything. Telling people to abstinent doesn't stop anything. The threat of honor killings haven't stopped anything, because people still do this. And you can make the argument, well, we have rules in place and people don't follow them. But this is a stupid thing. This is a stupid rule, and it should get banned. It's incredibly intrusive, and I could imagine it's embarrassing for women to have to go through this. And if you watch this video here, which I just watched most of it up to this point here, which this woman talks about her experience going through one of these tests in Egypt. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying, and this practice, born from religion and patriarchy, needs to be banned. I'm not one of those people who was, I'm some rampant male feminist. I'm mainly a guy who focuses on class issues and racism and things like that. But on this issue, I can't tell you how disgusted I am that this sort of stuff happens, especially in the UK, where we're meant to be more advanced, and this stuff still happens. It needs to be made illegal, and people need to lobby the government over this, because this stuff is wrong. It doesn't. The science is flawed for a start, so you're going to get wrong conclusions. But also you're going to cause a lot of women distress, which they don't need. Especially when you have people like Ti, who do these sort of things to their daughters, and then you're like, mate, I don't think you should be the guy even talking about this stuff, because I wouldn't be surprised if you had a lot of outside of marital affairs, extramarital affairs, or whatever the term is. And so look, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully, with some pressure, people can get this practice banned eventually. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video.